City, Denver, Colorado. McNichols Arena, the scene of next year's Final Four. But tonight begins the quest for the Western Regional. The house is packed, and we have 4 exciting teams ready to do battle. CBS Sports coverage of the East and West Regionals. And later on tonight, right here at McNichols Arena, it'll be top-seeded Arizona against UNLV. But coming up right now, it'll be Seton Hall Pirates from the Big East against the Big Ten champions, the Indiana Hoosiers, in one of the West Regional semis. Everyone, I'm Dick Stockton. Other than UCLA, no team has won more national championships than the Indiana Hoosiers. They have won 5, and they have breezed through the first 2 rounds of this tournament. The Seton Hall Pirates, on the other hand, have never gone this far to a regional semifinal, and they had a bit of a struggle in both of their matchups. But don't be fooled by those facts, because when you look at the differences of the strengths of these teams, either club has a good shot at winning tonight. My partner is Bill Raftery. How do you look at the matchup, Bill?
Well, Coach Bobby Knight of Indiana was very unhappy at Thanksgiving, Dick. They were struggling. He went to a 3-guard set. They started to play very well. He had done that last year, went back to it, and he's performed admirably.
Now for Seton Hall, what kind of team do they have?
Well, the power game. Last year, P.J. Cosimo's club went inside. They've established a very strong lower game. I think they'll have to do the same thing tonight consistently to win this one.
Jay Edwards is a star for Indiana, and he'll be out there shooting the threes for the Hoosiers. Meanwhile, there is an affinity between the 2 coaches, Bob Knight of Indiana and P.J. Carlissimo of Seton Hall. It goes back to when P.J. was a youngster, and here's how the 2 coaches talked about their personal friendship.
Well, when I was in high school, I went to St. Andrew basketball camp in Tunkhannock, just outside of Scranton, and Coach Knight came in and was a guest lecturer and spoke to us, myself and all the players from the prep, and you know, we learned basketball from him back at an early age. He was an old guy even then, though.
I'm just tickled to death for PJ that he's been able to get his team where he has it and do the kind of job he has. I was very, very impressed. It goes beyond a kid that you've known for a long time. He becomes now a coach that I have a great respect for after having had a chance to watch the kind of job he's done. And I think will continue to do. As long as he coaches, as long as he stays doing what he's doing now, he's going to be one of the best coaches we've got.
Bob Knight and P.J. Carlissimo both won Coach of the Year honors in their respective conferences. And now we're set for the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's go to our public address announcer, Alan Cass.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado, for tonight's West Regional semifinal game between the Seton Hall Pirates and the Indiana Hoosiers. And now let's meet the starting lineups. For Seton Hall, at forward, a 6'7" junior from Melbourne, Australia, number 10, Andrew Gay. For Indiana, at forward, a 6'9" freshman from Chicago, Illinois, number 32, Eric Anderson. For Seton Hall, at forward, a 6'8" senior from New York, number 24, Darrell Walker. For Indiana, at forward, a 6'2" senior from Glendale, California, number 44, Joe Hillman. For Seton Hall, at center, a 6'9" senior from Canovas, Puerto Rico, number 25, Ramon Ramos. For Indiana, at center, a 6'9" senior from Salina, Kansas, number 11, Todd Jadlow. For Seton Hall, at guard, a 6'1" senior from Brooklyn, New York, number 15, Gerald Breed. For Indiana, at guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Marion, Indiana, number 3, Jay Edwards. For Seton Hall, at guard, a 6'3" senior from the Bronx, New York, number 23, John Morton. For Indiana, at guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Marion, Indiana, number 4, Lyndon Jones. And introducing the head coaches for Seton Hall in his 7th season, P.J. Carlissimo. For Indiana in his 18th season, Bob Knight.
There they are, the two coaches. Number 2 Indiana against number 3 Seton Hall. The first meeting between these schools about to get underway when we come back to McNichols Arena.
Express mail from your post office has a whole fleet of 727.
We deliver.
A guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
No matter what, it's a Geo.
New Geo.
Geo Prism's got class with 16-valve kick.
Geo.
In a roomy 4-door.
Geo.
Or 5-door.
G-E-O-O-O-O.
Geo is protected from bumper to bumper.
Geo.
Oh.
And has a very smart price. Give us a call. Sold and serviced by select Chevrolet dealers.
No matter what.
Seton Hall's victory in the first 2 rounds, and they had a 19-point lead over Evansville, shaved to 1 before they hung on to win that second-round matchup. Indiana has had 2 breezes so far in their game, including an impressive 30-point victory over UTEP in the second round. Jody Sylvester from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Dave Libby of San Diego, California, and David Baer of Lexington, Kentucky are the officials. Sylvester, the man in the middle, as you see Indiana's results. Indiana in white with red, Seton Hall in blue. Jumping center, Ramon Ramos against Todd Jadlow. It's controlled by, let's see, it was last touched, and it will be Indiana's ball. So Indiana brings it up, as you mentioned, with the 3-guard offense.
Well, now the man-to-man offense, they're going to be patient with a lot of bumps. Seton Hall man-to-man.
Here's Jay Edwards, number 3, at the baseline. They doubled him momentarily. They get it inside to Hillman. Edwards being picked up well by John Morton. Jadlow, the center, way outside, hits the first shot of the game. He's had a strong showing in both of Indiana's games.
Dick, Seton Hall against the man-to-man will go low, and we'll see Indiana playing behind quite a bit.
Trying to get the ball into Ramos in the middle, and Hillman picks it off.
Great help.
Indiana's going to expect the ball to go inside of the big people. Eric Anderson, the Big Ten freshman of the year, makes it 4-0 Hoosiers.
Seton Hall has to have patience. Can't get rattled, particularly John Morton. Play within himself.
Here is Morton with the ball. Andrew Gaze, the 3-point threat, number 10. And the point guard is Gerald Green, number 15.
You'll notice in the low post, playing behind, the guards will go down and help out.
Gaze, the best outside shooter the Hall has, misses the shot, and here comes Edwards. Indiana leading 4-0. Hoosiers have been hot lately. They won 11 of their last 13 and 24 of their last 27 games. Won the Big Ten title.
Hillman very steady versus the flare right here. Jay Edwards, a lot of offensive ability.
Lyndon Jones, number 4. Here's Eric Anderson. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Trying to set screens, and a steal by Morton and a foul called against Jay Edwards.
Intentional, Dick, as well. Good call.
Because Morton would have been off to the races.
Bobby Knight upset, and he knows his youngster grabbed the hole. Can't do that. I like to see Robert Knight in the game early.
He is in the game early. So here is John Morton on the free throw line. Senior out of the Bronx, New York.
He's got good dribble ability, Dick, and I think with this help defense, he's going to have to be patient. If it's not there, kick it to his partner. Don't force things for Seton Hall.
4-2 the score. Indiana leading over Seton Hall. The Pirates were picked to finish 7th in the Big East. They won their first 13 games. Bobby Knight already with a lot of comments for the officials. Seton Hall with the ball on the intentional foul. Darrell Walker misses, and it's tipped in, and the basket counts. Andrew Gaze gets credit for the hoop. The junior from Melbourne, Australia, and a great story for Seton Hall this year.
Interesting player. He's got a great feel for the game. His dad, Lindsey, your coach, he reads things, goes without the ball. If you don't put a body on him, he doesn't jump real high, but he can get it in.
Todd Jadlow committing the foul for Indiana. And apparently no basket.
Oh, waved it off.
They ruled it off, that it's Seton Hall ball knocked out of bounds by Indiana. Morton in the lane takes too many steps, travels, turns it over. Big important thing, as P.J. Carlissimo told you, is the fact that Seton Hall has to keep its poise early.
You can't get rattled, particularly against Indiana's defense. They make you do unusual things.
Jay Edwards.
Over the top.
And it'll be Seton Hall's possession. So Edwards, the Big Ten Player of the Year, an All-American first or second team, misses his first shot. Green looking inside for Darrell Walker, posting up against the freshman Eric Anderson, and Darrell Walker, who's averaged over 11 a game, ties the score.
Dick, you notice the defense of Indiana played behind. The guards have to go down and help their post people, or Indiana's going to have a tough night inside.
Here's Anderson working inside himself, and he gets the shot over both Ramos and Walker. 6-4 in favor of the Hoosiers, who were 27-7 coming into this game. Driving to the hoop is Green. The shot is blocked, and a foul called against Indiana.
Well, Bobby Knight mentions that some of these guys aren't real talented, but Anderson has some ability. Lost twice to LaFonso Ellis in the Illinois State Championship. Good penetration. Has been playing well in the tournament.
Todd Jadlow, meanwhile, Bill, has picked up his second personal foul. So Indiana's starting center, and a senior, has two, and Gerald Green going to the free throw line. Bobby Knight, who saw his bench help him in the first two rounds of this tournament. He rested his starters in the final Big Ten game of the year against Iowa, and it proved to be beneficial to him, and we may be seeing some of those subs shortly. And there's one coming in now. Brian Sloan, senior from McLeansboro, Illinois, will replace Jadlow, who goes out with 2 fouls in a moment. One free throw by Green. Indiana by 1. Edwards on his hand, and the foul called against Morton will send Jay Edwards to the line. Here is Brian Sloan going to come into the game, replacing Todd Jadlow, who goes out with 2 personal fouls. But Morton is on the line, a very key operative for Seton Hall. What kind of a player is he, Billy?
Well, of course, that time he's matched up with Jay Edwards, and defensively, that's a tough night. You'll notice that Edwards will force it more than any other Indiana player. He has the right to make a move. Of course, they run all those bumps for him, so Morton has to move and get some help.
I told us yesterday, it's how Edwards moves without the ball to determine how well he plays. He just can't stand around out there. But he makes the free throws, and a 3-point Indiana lead, 8-5. Less than 3 minutes gone by in the first half. Here's Andrew Gaze outside for a 3. He was the leading 3-point scorer for Seton Hall, and they tie it at 8-8.
Seton Hall will punish you if you go down and help out. Bob Knight's philosophy is to help on the post. They can kick it to the weak side, as they did that time.
Lyndon Jones loses the ball on the pass back from Jay Edwards, and so the Hoosiers turning it over a couple of times in here, and Seton Hall with a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Again, they'll pound it down, banging heads down below.
Virginia and Oklahoma tied 37 at Lexington. Ramon Ramos in and out, had good position. Here's Morton with the follow. Walker. Seton Hall had 3 chances at it, and a foul will be called against the Pirates, and it'll be Darrell Walker, I believe. Nope. It is Walker's foul, his first.
Give Seton Hall a chance. They will press a little. Indiana sets up a 1-4. Now they put Walker back out at half court, but you notice Darrell Walker, great ability to offensive rebound.
Hillman gets the feed, goes right around Walker and lays it in. Joe Hillman, the senior, and maybe the most mismatched player on the court, because he's 6'2", that third guard you talked about, and he has to be guarding bigger forwards.
How did you like him taking advantage of Walker there? Pushed the dribble right by him.
Of course, they have to guard him, too. Here's Gaze, who hit a 3 earlier, missed the rebound by Eric Anderson.
A little deep.
Indiana leading 10-8. Lyndon Jones off the rim, the rebound by Ramos. They're going to need his board strength inside if the Pirates stay close to Indiana.
Of course, if you see transition baskets, Dick, it'll usually be Seton Hall.
There's the lob inside to Ramos. Morton is open for the 3. Rebound again by Anderson. He's been the leading rebounder for the Hoosiers in the early going. Foul Ball inside. Indiana going to the hoop. And a Seton Hall foul.
Gaze got caught that time, but here's the basketball that PJ likes. Go in, and then, of course, Indiana responds by helping out on Ramos. You'll see the triangle. Everybody checking out basic defense on the rebounding. They all get 2 or 3 rebounds a ball game for Indiana.
Coming in now is Jamal Meeks replacing Lyndon Jones for Indiana. Franz Bolsey, a good rebounder, a junior from East Orange, New Jersey, has replaced Darrell Walker in the Seton Hall lineup. And Joe Hillman, this is the first free throw. There's Walker, who left the game. Hillman's a great story. He played in the rookie league with the Oakland A's and is going to play professional baseball. He's a senior at Indiana. He makes 1 free throw, and the Hoosiers lead 11-8 in the first half. Edwards is on Green. Hillman guarding Morton.
Great job pinching that time defensively.
Meeks is on Gaze. They're going to watch his three-point shots. He'll be tough to get off.
And he's going to have to put the ball on the floor.
Gaze coming in around the screen, picked up on the switch by Hillman. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Seton Hall. Cross nearly a steal by Meeks, and the jumper is short by Morton. Good defense by Indiana. That's their brand. And coming up is Jamal Meeks, freshman from Freeport, Illinois.
A lot of bumps, back screens.
Edwards nearly lost the ball. Hillman in a crowd. Blocked by Ramos into the hands of Morton. He's got Green on the perimeter. Morton called for the block. No, it's a block against Indiana, and a good call by the official.
And not a happy guy, but great opportunity break there. The block shot leads it. Of course, running the floor beautifully. Morton does a nice job, and fortunately does not charge for Seton Hall.
And Jay Edwards, more important, has picked up his second personal.
When you were 21,
yeah,
we drank a toast to it.
Yeah.
We can't do that. When you were 30,
yeah,
you could boast of it.
Yeah.
Now you're 40. Look at there, see? So make the most of it. Well, isn't that clever?
In the village of Upper Nyack, the firemen fight fires with ladders and hoses. And a Murata fax machine. It's used to receive floor plans and detailed drawings of buildings so they can plan how to attack the fire before they get to the fire. Murata fax machines.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
The Chevy Beretta Sport Coupe, designed to help you look better, engineered to help you drive better, and priced to let you live better.
To the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
Dick hires an artist with a hot temper.
Corinne Denby, classic firebug.
You really like it?
Actually, no.
What?
The Heat's on Newhart, Monday.
In the middle of that huddle, the Big Ten's all-time winningest coach, Bob Knight, also 500 career wins, 400th at IU. Big year for Mr. Knight.
Yesterday was a pleasant day for him. Kind to everybody. Compared himself with Santa Claus. It sent tremors through the families of people who have young children when he heard that.
Seton Hall comes back, and Andrew Gaze hits a three. His second three-point basket of the game. Again, ties it at 11. And Seton Hall hitting only 3 of 12 shots. Indiana's done the job defensively, and it's a good thing Gaze has hit the 2 threes.
Well, PJ felt if he could get a couple of baskets out of the full court pressure, it would be enough for him.
Hillman gets it into Eric Anderson. Good defense by Seton Hall, but Anderson, who has led Indiana in both of their games in the tournament, including a 24-point career high against UTEP, breaks the tie again. Sloan is guarding Ramos, who hits the outside shot. He's improved his range.
That's how to settle that problem. If they're not getting you the basketball low, Ramon moves his man out. Ramos deep as well.
Tied at 13. Virginia leading Oklahoma in a shocker at halftime, 42-37 at Lexington. Jamal Meeks drives to the baseline, and Green is called for the foul, and so for Gerald Green, that'll be his first. Michael Cooper reports into the game, and his role is to increase the defensive intensity, and he'll replace John Morton, who goes out with 2 points.
Dick, the problem defensively for Seton Hall is communicating. There are so many bumps inside. You have to help your partner through, slide, and even switch at times.
Trying to get open. Good passing. Here's Jamal Meeks. Freshman Jamal Weeks, who Bob Knight said was responsible for Indiana winning 8 games this year. Perhaps the best late recruit he's ever gotten.
Good help by Chris Smith there. Great drive and penetration, set up that jumper for Indiana.
Ramos, Cooper, and Bolsey with Green and Gaze. So Gaze, in essence, playing a backcourt position now for Seton Hall. 15-13 Indiana, and Green hits a 3, so Gerald Green has hit a 3-point basket to give Seton Hall its first lead of the game.
And he's going to have to shoot because his man has been going down and jamming things up.
Now Indiana trying to regain the lead with just under 13 minutes to go in the first half. Reese Smith has come in the game, number 42. We want to welcome the viewers who've been watching the Virginia-Oklahoma game in Lexington, Kentucky. A surprise there, and right now we have a tight game. Joe Hillman has just scored for Indiana to give them the lead by 1. This is Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery here at McNichols Arena in Denver in the West Regional semifinal. And Andrew Gaze has just bombed his third three-point basket of the game. And Seton Hall leads 19-17. And Bill Raftery, Indiana has not solved his long-range bombing.
Well, he keeps moving. Good-looking post pass here.
Eric Anderson comes back to tie it up.
One thing about Gage, he's been well taught. Mentioned his dad was a coach, a good friend of Pete Newell's, and he just has a feel for the game. Pete Newell says he's a poor man's Larry Bird. Of course, Pete, well-renowned Olympic coach as well.
Not bad to be a poor man's Larry Bird.
No.
A lot of players would take that. Seton Hall playing with 2 Olympians. Ramos, who played on the Puerto Rican Olympic team. And, of course, Gaze, who's on the Australian Olympic team. It's still going to be Seton Hall as the ball's out of bounds. Here's the story of our game so far. Indiana shooting the lights out and Seton Hall struggling. But what's kept the Pirates in the game have been 4 3-point baskets, 3 of them by Andrew Gaze. Pookie Wigington, the 5'4" senior point guard, has come in along with Anthony Avent, who's 6'9", a sophomore, and a big board man for Seton Hall.
And a penetrator, he can stick the long one as well.
Here's Gaze, leaves it behind. Michael Cooper.
Oh, they're up on Gaze now for the shot. He used the bounce.
I was surprised they didn't get up on Gaze earlier when he hit his first 2.
Dick, if you watch inside, you see all the bumps used for the guards. Hillman got a corner jumper because of his activity and the screens for him.
Reese Smith, number 42, in there along with Joe Hillman, Jamal Meeks, Brian Sloan. Most of the reserves are in there, and Eric Anderson for Indiana. So Bobby Knight has gone to his bench, and so is Carlissimo.
The double up.
Gaze all over Hillman. This is a patient team looking for the cutters and the screeners. Anderson inside, and a foul against Seton Hall, and that'll be their 15th foul of the first half.
PJ's deep up front. Young players, Anthony Avent, and of course Franz Bolsey as well. 2 strong types. He gives his club a chance to rest, and of course give these youngsters a chance to grow.
PJ Carlissimo, the Big East Coach of the Year for the 2nd year in a row. A lot was made of the Student Senate that asked for his ouster 2 years ago, but the story is it was a minority. It was just the Senate. Most of the people on the Seton Hall campus were backing him all the way.
Great confidence by the administration. It's great to see in this day and age. Of course, in those days when he was struggling, he didn't have a beard. He does everything opposite. Now he's winning, he grows a beard.
He doesn't need a disguise now.
Exactly.
2 free throws by Anderson. There you see how Seton Hall has come alive from the field lately to tie the game at 21. Cooper, short, rebound, inside. Missed by Anthony Avent, and we'll have a foul against Seton Hall. Anthony Avent, his first personal foul. Seton Hall has connected with 5 straight baskets before the foul. Andrew Gaze has come out. We're at McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado. Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery. Game 1 of our Western Regional semifinal. Arizona and UNLV will match up in game number 2. We're tied at 21 with 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Steal by Morton, who's just come in the game for Andrew Gaze. So Wigington and Morton in the backcourt now. Wigington number 4. Volsey, strong player. Seton Hall has missed a lot of shots inside, but they've gotten the opportunity.
They go after it.
That's Morton, John Morton. And he has 4 points. Gaze, who's on the bench now, leads Seton Hall with 9.
You don't want to play. That's a surprise, isn't it? You don't want to play half court with Indiana, so they got to get cheap baskets and second efforts if they're going to hang in.
Meeks, impressive freshman. Wigington trying to stay with him.
Great motion by Indiana. Nobody stands still.
Nothing ever changes with Bob Knight's teams. The same style, different people fill the uniforms. Seton Hall leading 23 to 21. And traveling call turns it over to Seton Hall. And a timeout here at McNichols Arena. 9:42 to go in a very tight first half.
The Honda lawnmower. It was first with a blade brake clutch that stops the blade without stopping the engine. First with a maintenance-free automotive-type shaft drive. And first with an easy-starting overhead valve engine. It's no wonder this is the first lawnmower good enough to be a Honda.
Land sailing on the dry lakes of Black Rock, Nevada, and the great taste of old Milwaukee beer.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in old Milwaukee beer.
It doesn't get any better than this.
One card lets you call from anywhere in your calling area to virtually anywhere in the world and pay the same as if you were calling from your desk. So now you can have the biggest office in town because the town is your office. The MCI card. It is America's business card.
You've seen those Chevy versus Ford tests, right? We came up with one of our own. Half-ton 4x4s, best available tires, driven at the same identical speed right through this 18-inch deep ditch. Now, this is a real control test, so don't you try it because you'll damage your truck. That's a Chevy with torsion bar suspension, and that's the Ford with twin traction beam suspension. And you can see why we've had a change of heart in pickups.
That's today's Chevy truck.
A steady rise for the Seton Hall Pirates under P.J. Carlissimo. Every year they've improved. What's behind it, Billy?
I'd like to tell you that I left the barn filled with great players, but I'd be lying. Some late-night consultations with me, that wouldn't be true. I just think hard work and good recruiting.
And we'll have a whistle. 4 players on the court, and apparently Cree Smith was not on the floor at the time.
I know Bob Knight teaches great defense, but it's awful hard 4 against 5.
Other than the hard work, what do you think has brought Seton Hall to this point?
I just think his ability to communicate with these kids, his belief in himself, and I think Dave Gavitt and the administration staying behind him. Dave felt he could coach even in the bad years.
And they've recruited New York City kids, something they hadn't been able to do before. Missing was Morton, and the rebound by Eric Anderson. Indiana has turned it over the last 2 times they've had possession. Trailing by 2. 9:15 remaining first half. Jamal Meeks, the freshman, playing a lot here in the first half. Lyndon Jones went to the bench early.
Good action. Hillman keeps you moving. Really look for back screens.
Meeks picked up by Walker. Hillman. Sloan has played most of this first half at center because of Jadlow on the bench with 2 fouls. With 8 seconds to go, a great running jumper by Joe Hillman, who has 7 points. Anderson leads Indiana with 10 and another tie. We're even at 23. Avent is in there with Cooper. And a 3-point basket by Morton. So Seton Hall with 5 3-pointers. That's what's kept them in the game and the lead, 26-23.
The hardest thing for Bob Knight is to take away the inside game and play the 3-pointers. They really stretch your defense, Dick.
Here is Brian Sloan hitting outside. A 2-point basket by Sloan, not known for his offense. Sloan having to play a lot with Jadlow on the bench with 2 fouls. Brings Indiana to within 1. Inside to Anthony Abbott. And a rebound and a fine one in there by Cree Smith. And over the top, a Seton Hall foul by Michael Cooper.
Again, the bumps. Hillman really more offensive-minded than early. He may have gotten a piece of it. It's tough to knock Cooper down when you're Joe Hillman.
That is the 17th foul against Seton Hall. And Mark Robinson, a 6'5" senior from Ventura, California, will be entering the game. Robinson, basically a defender and rebounder. And he'll check in. Ramon Ramos also in for Seton Hall, number 25. So Cree Smith, who missed 4 weeks with a knee injury this year, hits the first free throw. He's played a lot more in the NCAA tournament. Indiana, one of 2 schools with oxygen on the bench. Arizona, the other one in this semifinal.
As Pete Knowles said to Bobby, you should know about altitude. You played here. He said, Pete, that was 29 years ago. And Knowles had a great rejoinder. He said, the air's the same now as it was then.
Lyndon Jones, who started the game at point guard, is back in there, and Cree Smith checks out for Indiana. So right now, Seton Hall with Wigington and Morton in the backcourt. Walker, Ramos, and Gaze up front. And an offensive foul called against Ramos of Seton Hall, and that'll be his first.
Unnecessary. He had the post, try to push him lower. Bobby believes in displacement. Knight's philosophy is play behind and move the man out a little. That's what happened, and Ramos recoiled and banged back.
Going out is Eric Anderson, who's the leading scorer with 10 points in the ball game, and Chucky White, a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, at 6'7", gives him a breather. And on the line is Brian Sloan. Seton Hall in the bonus. Indiana's committed only 14 fouls. There's some oxygen for Anderson. He's the first freshman, by the way, since Isaiah Thomas to start opening night for the Hoosiers.
Not bad company.
1 out of 2 for Sloan. Indiana by 2. 28-26. 7:45 remaining in the first half. Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery from Denver. Nearly losing the ball was Morton, but Gaze has it. Wigington. Seton Hall must be a tough team to defend.
Again, the power game and the ability to shoot outside. They're patient as well as having that running ability.
Out of bounds. It's still Seton Hall's ball with 17 seconds on the clock.
I noticed P.J. Carlissimo talking to the officials a little more. When Bob Knight's involved in the game, you have to maintain some edge.
Yeah, you don't want to give the floor to Mr. Knight. Gerald Green has come in, replacing Wigington. So the 2 starting guards in there for the Pirates in blue, Indiana in white. There's the shot clock, and Morton off the glass.
Kiss.
A bank shot by John Morton. So Morton and Andrew Gaze each have 9 to lead Seton Hall in a 28-28 battle. Nearly 7 minutes remaining in the half. Lyndon Jones at the top now is Mark Robinson. Hillman open for the moment. Coming down with it, and the rebound by Darrell Walker. Seton Hall looking to untie the game. Gaze has already hit 3 3-pointers.
Ramos carved such a big area.
There he is. He carved a big area and got his second field goal. Seton Hall is up 30-28.
Bobby Knight complained about Stanford being physical early in the year. This is not a real physical Indiana team. He's right.
Double team quickly on Lyndon Jones, trying to go to the hoop. Leaves it on top. Sloan doesn't shoot. Chucky White hits the back bucket. So you can start him coming off the bench. It doesn't matter. Indiana players can shoot the ball.
No hand up defensively either.
Seton Hall got a taste of this Indiana defense in their prior game against Evansville as Ramos hits the basket. Jim Cruz, the former protege of Bobby Knight, who played for the Hoosiers, also used the 3-guard offense. So they got a little practice in that game.
He felt comfortable with it. His kids did as well.
Ramos hitting 2 shots from the perimeter. 32-30 and a Seton Hall foul. That'll be against John Morton, and that'll be his second foul.
Thought he got away with it. Pretty good movement of the feet, but unnecessary that far from the goal.
Jamal Meeks will replace Joe Hillman, who leaves for Indiana. Hillman scored 7 points. Mark Robinson on the free throw line. Michael Cooper replaces Morton for Seton Hall. They'll need the oxygen and the altitude here in Mile High City. Here's Morton, or Robinson, who is only a 38% free throw shooter.
That'll kill you late, as we well know.
Seton Hall with the ball and a 2-point lead with 5:45 remaining in the first half. Winner will go on and meet the survivor of Arizona and UNLV coming up next here at McNichols Arena.
Rush screen.
Gage couldn't glance it off the boards, and a foul called as hitting the deck is Cooper, and the foul will be against Indiana, and it's Brian Sloan with the foul. First foul on Sloan, who came in for Todd Jadlow. Jadlow, the starting center, picked up 2 early fouls and has spent most of his first half on the bench.
What's made Seton Hall such a good team, the ability to crash the offensive glass and still maintain balance against the break.
Loose ball, Indiana has it. They turned it over as they went to Ramos. He was triple teamed on the inbound. So now the Hoosiers in a position to try to tie this game up again. We have had 9 ties in this first half.
Meeks in there really gives them some spunk and some enthusiasm.
An offensive foul against Indiana, and that will be Sloan, I believe, with his second foul.
Can't leave your feet. Bobby pretty subdued with the officials. Saying, hey, stay on the floor, make sure you find somebody before you leave.
I think as a psychologist, Bob Knight is a tremendous coach.
He's got his own way, unique way, no question. Some kids it would be tough to handle. But the kids that survive, as we saw Hillman handle himself at the press conference, you have to admire them.
We understand down in Lexington, where Virginia leads Oklahoma, that Mookie Blaylock, the star guard, has been poked in the eye and is out of the game. Wide open is Cooper. Wide open shot, but there's Darrell Walker on the other side, and he traveled. But you can see where Seton Hall is giving Indiana a lot of trouble off the glass and getting position inside.
Great position that time, holding off. Walker maintained, let the ball come long.
Turnovers are even. 8 Indiana players, by the way, have scored in this one. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Good step by Lyndon Jones and a block there by Michael Cooper. And Robinson goes up with a follow into the hands of Green. Seton Hall leading by 2. And Green goes up and he's fouled by Chucky White. Good stop and go by Gerald Green, who really has given up his offense to become a true point guard for PJ.
He's the reason they're a better team. Last year he took over as the point guard, got the ball to everybody, and you have to be impressed with the defense. Seton Hall really coming over, and maybe a little of Bobby Knight's magic where, you know, PJ mentioned how much he's meant to him. Good interior defense.
That's the 7th team foul against Indiana, and they'll bring back Joe Hillman and Eric Anderson, 2 of their starters, into the lineup as Mark Robinson leads the game, and Brian Sloan, who has played a good deal in this half, also departs.
Of course, Cree Smith had a big game against Iowa, and a lot of the subs played. Bobby Knight very deep now and comfortable with it. I think he's preparing for the second half.
First one goes by Green in the second latter part of the first half, actually. Indiana's victory over UTEP with the starters in foul trouble. The bench came in royally.
Next half, you might see Jay Edwards get more bumps and open shots.
Edwards has been on the bench a long time with 2 fouls. Seton Hall by 4.
We're back with another test of Chevy versus Ford. And this one you can do at home. Just load both trucks with eggs, then lower something heavy down on them. You'll see that Chevy has these notches that let you do double-deck loading. You'll see that Ford doesn't have any notches. That's why we've had a change of heart about pickups. With Ford, you can bring home the bacon. With Chevy, you can bring home the bacon and the eggs.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
My grandfather was a carpenter. My dad's a carpenter. Yes, building things is in my blood.
The Sawcat from the Industrial Tool Division of Black & Decker. Tough ball and roller bearings, cut steel helical gears for precision and power, job after job.
You know, you start in the morning, there's nothing. And at the end of the day, there's proof you've been there.
Ask a man who's used one lately. Nothing beats a Black & Decker.
President Bush attacked the budget deficit tonight in a
speech before
Inflation concerns swept Wall Street today as a report that...
The Dow Jones average seesawed all day, closing up. The new administration's proposed budget puts less emphasis on the military.
Change. Twists, turns, the unexpected. To achieve financial security today, you have to know how to deal with change. Or have the help of someone who does. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
March Madness continues with prime-time doubleheader action. Illinois battles Louisville, then Georgetown faces NC State tomorrow night on CBS Sports.
A true legend in basketball, coach of the 1959 national champion California Bears.
What a nice man. And I asked him, why did Bobby struggle early, Bobby Knight? He said the first 2 weeks of practice were for conditioning. The second 2 weeks were the training and augmenting and teaching. And he thinks they didn't have enough time before the preseason NIT.
Boy, Indiana, as you mentioned, got off to a real rough start. Lost 4 of the first 7. Gave up 100 points in 3 of those games. Seton Hall foul. Gerald Green. Indiana going to the line.
Chris, that's a great relationship. Pete Newell and Bobby Knight. He calls them with any problems he may have, direction. If things aren't going the way he feels they should go, he wants to know what's going wrong, and they converse and really improve themselves as they did this year.
Wigington replaces Green, goes out with 2 fouls. No one on Seton Hall has 3 fouls, and for that matter, no one on Indiana. Although it's interesting that Jay Edwards has spent most of his first half on the bench, the leading scorer, 20 points a game, and the Big Ten Player of the Year. And Indiana has hung in there without him, is one way of looking at it.
Confidence in your team, and I think a good move because you can come back with him without that third problem, that third foul hanging over him.
There's Edwards, who's the big three-point threat for the Hoosiers. Jones with the free throws. Seton Hall's lead is 2, 4:25 remaining in the first half. Hillman is guarding Gaze, who already has hit 3 three-pointers in this one.
See if they go down and help out Dick in the low post. That's the key thing in Bob's defense.
Inside to Ramos, double team. Basket good and a foul. And if Seton Hall can get the ball in low like that to Ramon Ramos.
Are they coming out? Everybody, the Army showed up here. Ramos attracting a crowd negated by a size field goal.
Eric Anderson with the foul, and Mark Robinson will return to the game, replacing Jamal Meeks for Indiana. And so Ramon Ramos is on the line. A great story. The center of the Puerto Rican Olympic team, and of course P.J. Carlesimo spent many years going to Puerto Rico and first spotted him when he was 16 years old.
Because I think P.J. learned a lot about coaching down there.
1 out of 2, or missed the free throw, but Walker comes in with the follow-up. Darrell Walker, and that really will make Bob Knight angry.
He doesn't look pretty, Darrell Walker, but he's been so effective for this club, both ends of the floor.
Matches the biggest lead of the game for Seattle, 38-32. Fighting inside is Eric Anderson, and he'll go to the line. That's Michael Cooper with his second foul. Well, since Jay Edwards went out of the game earlier with his second personal foul, the Hoosiers were leading by 3 with about 14 minutes to go, Bill. And now with 3:51 to go, they're trailing by 6. So his absence has really hurt.
They've been laboring on offense, taking a lot of time, not getting free. He opens everything up for that club.
Anderson missing the free throw. And making his first appearance of the game is Nick Katsikas out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and he's a fine outside shooter.
Good shooter. That's what he's in there for. Hustle, don't make mistakes, and hit the open one.
Michael Cooper out. 1 out of 2. 11 points for Anderson. He's the high scorer in the game right now. But Seton Hall has the lead, 38-33. 3:42 remaining in the first half. Wigington.
Hillman stayed at home on Gaze that time.
They're going to have to. Wigington working his way against Lyndon Jones, and an offensive foul against the senior from Inglewood, California.
Mark Robinson with a nice read. You've got to be under control. Pookie Wigington's job is to set everybody up. They cleared out. He's got to make the judgment.
Bobby Knight wanted 30 points from 2 players in particular, Anderson and Jadlow. Hillman has the shot rejected by Ramos. Out of bounds, still Indiana's possession with 3:21 remaining in this half.
The penetration here, Joe Hillman does a great job to get inside, but once again negated by good defense, and Chucky White with a good play as well.
And the basket, no basket. Offensive foul. Indiana has connected on only one basket in the last 5 minutes, and Lyndon Jones has picked up the foul, turning it over to Seattle. That's an incredible drought for a team that's as good a shooting team as you'll find.
Again, they're having a problem with the defense. Of course, that look has scared a few officials.
Katsikas, three-point threat, and Indiana knows it. And Gaze, two good long-range bombers in there.
Another thing about Seton Hall is they're a great bounce passing team into the post. And Tate Slock, Bob Knight's assistant, said they don't see much of that in the Big Ten.
Wigington gets it to Ramos. Short on the turnaround. And now Indiana just hit one of their last 7, trying to cut the margin. Seton Hall leading by 5. 2:40 remaining now in the first half. Lyndon Jones, and Robinson goes up high, and he'll be called for the offensive foul. Mark Robinson, and we probably have had more offensive fouls than defensive fouls.
Aggressive play, but that was incredible how he read that, anticipated.
How would you call this game thus far? I mean, looking at the flow of it, Indiana has not shot that well. Seton Hall has stayed in there.
Well, I think the backcourt scoring there, that graphic tells Seton Hall's end of it. I think both clubs are physical on the glass, and that could wear one or the other out by the end of the night.
Franz Volsi replaces Ramon Ramos, who goes out with 8 points. Ramos. And Walker is on the line. Walker had 16 points and 10 rebounds in only 18 minutes against Evansville. Kind of a guy who rises to the occasion this year for Seton Hall.
Of course, out of all Hollows in the Bronx, Bobby Crimmins, old school, Olden Polonese at Virginia, Bobby Cunningham on that 57 North Carolina. Sure, so the tradition up in the Bronx, and he was a New York City Player of the Year as well.
Led his high school All Hollows to the state championship. 1 out of 2, but Katsikas was alert, and now Seton Hall, with a 6-point lead, can establish their biggest lead of this first half if they score.
Too many opportunities. Indiana's got to do a better job. Guards have to go down and rebound for them.
Indiana was hanging in there early because of their shooting. They've grown cold. Katsikas hitting that shot. A 3-point basket by Nick Katsikas, and Seton Hall has opened up a 9-point lead. So if there was a surprise in Lexington in that Oklahoma game, we've got a little bit of one here. Surprised at the way Seton Hall has moved smartly in front of Indiana.
They have to be patient now, Indiana. You're playing to stay close with your main guys on the bench. You don't want to rush anything here.
Hillman looking for an opening. Chucky White draws the foul. Walker. Darrell Walker with his second personal foul.
Pretty good defense negated there. But that's the thing about Indiana. They get to the foul line. I think the number is 350 more free throw attempts than the opponent, so they take it right to the defense.
So Chucky White, Anthony Avent replaces Darrell Walker. Walker has played well, 5 points, but has been a presence in there for Seton Hall.
Again, that ability to go to the bench and get some pretty good answers and responses is the reason Seton Hall finished second in the Big East.
Pirates 28-6 on the year. Last year was only their first appearance in the NCAA tournament. White misses both. Indiana is 11 of 17 from the line, and Bob Knight has to be totally distressed with the Indiana all-around play.
Here's that look on the bench, the legs crossed. Again, the patience of Seton Hall. If they miss, they've been getting the opportunities.
And in a half remaining in the first half. Seton Hall on a 12-3 run. They're up by 9. And they really have taken control of this segment of the game.
And their defense has been impressive as well. The two shooters fighting for the long-distance shot over there, Gaze and Katsikas.
They have 10 seconds now on the clock. Pookie Wigington, first name is Leland, working in against Jones. And it's off the hands of Avent, out of bounds. So Seton Hall couldn't get a shot off with 1:04 remaining. Look how Indiana has grown cold in the last 7 minutes.
Of course, it starts with defense. That time a good sequence caused the turnover. Now they got to get good shots at this end.
Under a minute now. Keep in mind they have played most of this first half without Jay Edwards, who has been on the bench with 2 fouls. Hillman missing, and Avent the rebound. And Seton Hall can virtually play for the last shot of the half.
Now they went to the 1-4, and Wigginton got hung up in the 3 set. Now they're going to their delay game.
32 on the shot clock, 34 on the game clock. Got to say a lot about Seton Hall's defense, too, to make things tough for Indiana, not getting those easy jump shots.
I think they were comfortable early, and that let them get going. They have a nice confidence on the defensive end as well.
Jim Nance and James Brown coming up shortly from our New York studio to bring you up to date on the other action. 7 on the shot clock. You're looking at the game clock in this half. Wigginton nearly lost it. Bit of trouble and steps, so Seton Hall has used the clock, but have not gotten the shot off in the latter stages of this half. And Indiana, with 4 seconds to go to try to narrow the 9-point deficit.
2 important stops by Indiana.
Bob Knight will have plenty to say, I'm sure, in the dressing room. Hillman's long-range shot misses. Indiana missed its last 8 shots from the field, and that is the end of the first half. Here in Denver with the score, Seton Hall 42 and Indiana 33.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Honda Power Equipment. It's Honda engineering that makes the difference. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
I got no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true? I get a kick out of you.
The BMW 7 Series. It brings new blood to a class of automobile that can certainly benefit from it.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? This hot. 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1 and watch. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more, but under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
Attention, all men with noses. Introducing Schick Slim Twin Disposable. It's 28% slimmer than Good News to give you a close shave even in hard-to-reach places. New Schick Slim Twin, preferred by men who have noses.
The test of a great airline is not just how fast it moves you in the air, but how fast it moves you on the ground. That's why at some of the busiest airports in the world, United Airlines offers you the most advanced baggage systems, faster ticketing and boarding procedures, and the most spacious, convenient, efficient terminals in the business. United Airlines, from the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
He's got the world at his fingertips, and he's ready to make a pass at the new nanny, but she's well guarded. It's hard to live with temptation on Live In. Then, they're growing on love and laughter in America's Heartland.
All right.
Live In Heartland, Monday starting at 8.
This is CBS.
Not one single complaint to the federal government in 86, 87, or 88 out of over 500,000 Hyundai sold.
Right now, the best quality and best car value in America just became more affordable at Bluegrass Hyundai. For only $129 a month and $89, you can own a brand new Hyundai Excel. That's less than what most people pay for their electric bill.
$129 a month and $89.
That's terrific! Bluegrass Hyundai.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Sad minds.
It is halftime in Denver, and Seton Hall on a 16-7 run to end the first half, leading by 9 over the Hoosiers. And welcome back to New York, everybody. I'm Jim Nance, along with my colleague James Brown. Jay Edwards has only 2 free throws in the first half for the Hoosiers, 2 points, and the second seed in the West, Indiana, trailing by 9 at the half. Another hot story right now is taking place in Lexington, the #1 seed in the Southeast. The Oklahoma Sooners going against Virginia. Now down 7 are the Sooners. They trail by 5 at halftime. At one point took the lead in the second half. But now here they are again, James, trailing by 7 in the second half.
Going into this game, as a matter of fact, Oklahoma's coaching staff thought that the full-court press would really rattle Virginia and take that outside shooting game away. It has not done that. As a matter of fact, Brian Stith with 24 points in the first half, make that into the second half, and Richard Morgan with 16 points. So it really hasn't had the effect of disorienting them at all, and Virginia's been able to hang in there.
To tell more of the story on that game in the first half, Mookie Blaylock suffered an eye injury right beneath the eye. He set out the final minutes of the first half. And in that first half, Blaylock and Stacey King were held to only a total of 5 points as the Sooners again trailed 42-37 at the intermission. That's William Davis at the free throw line for Oklahoma, trimming that lead now to 6 at the moment against Virginia. They are near a timeout situation in that game at Lexington at Rupp Arena. William Davis again is at the line with Oklahoma trailing by 6, the #1 seed in that regional. The Oklahoma Sooners going against the 5 seed, the Virginia Cavaliers. Will be going for a taste of that game in just a moment. As you can see, they have a timeout on the floor in Lexington with the difference 5. Virginia right now an upset in the making against Oklahoma. We'll come back and take you out to that game as we continue on the road to the Final Four in just a moment.
I know some people who still think the only way to have fun is to use drugs and alcohol. Even after all the news reports about the damage caused by drugs and alcohol, some people still don't believe that that damage can happen to them. Believe it. And remember, you can have a good time without using drugs and alcohol. If you have friends who try to tell you otherwise, they're not really your friends.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
I actually had a very unusual career as a student athlete, having participated in 2 different team sports at 2 different universities. Began my career as a collegiate football player at the University of Utah, where I sustained an injury, and then transferred to San Francisco State University, where I participated in baseball. At the Division II university, it was a university that did not overemphasize the athletic side of the endeavor. I think that became very healthy for me because I had never envisioned being anything but a professional athlete. The things that I went through as a collegiate athlete prepared me better for a future life. I encourage young prospective collegiate athletes at this time to think with the future in mind and plan for the days when the athletic career is over.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
James Brown and Jim Nance back in New York, and as Jimmy mentioned, going to a commercial break, a possible upset in the making down in the Southeast region. Virginia leading Oklahoma by 5 with under 10 minutes. Let's check in with Tim Brandt and Lynn Elmore.
We want to welcome those of you who have been watching the game in Denver, Indiana, Seton Hall in the West region. Seton Hall leads that one 42-33 with Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery. I'm Tim Brandt along with Len Elmore at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Virginia has controlled the tempo and the boards here. They led by 5 at the half. They held off a 7-0 Oklahoma run to start this half, but they still control the game, and Blunden scores to make it a 64-57 Virginia lead. Len Elmore, give us an overview of the game.
Well, it's been Oklahoma's inability to block Virginia off the boards, giving them second opportunities, and also Virginia's ability to keep Stacey King from really being involved in this ball game that's allowed Virginia this lead.
It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow belongs to Virginia. The rebounds that Len Elmore talked about, you see there, and it has been UVA controlling the boards. The bench scoring has belonged to Oklahoma. Stith, the freshman for Virginia, 23 points and 5 rebounds. And over the last 5 minutes, you see the scoring by the Cavaliers. This is Crotty for Virginia. Morgan can't get it to drop. Blaylock with the rebound. Stacey King, the All-American for Oklahoma, has 10 points. Make it 12.
And that time, Virginia, outside of their character in this game, didn't front Stacey King. They allowed a straight pass into the post, and he's going to burn you that way. They're going to have to make an adjustment again.
Great hustle by Skeeter Henry goes over the table. And Mullins will help him get back on the court. The other side of the story, Len, is that Blaylock, part of the inside-outside combo for the Sooners, has only 5 points and a black eye. He was hit accidentally by Stith when the two went for a loose ball.
And Mookie Blaylock also isn't as active as he normally would be in this type of defense. He's the NCAA all-time steals per game leader, and he really hasn't been a factor on defense.
Morgan with the pull-up jumper. Fight for the rebound. Blunden gets it back. And he's fouled by King.
And Tim, I'm just amazed. Recognizing that this is the biggest problem that Oklahoma has, they still fail to block out Matt Blunden. And what they do is create second opportunities for Virginia and cause the front line to get in foul trouble with the nice pump fakes inside by the Virginia players.
Some obvious concern by Billy Tubbs of Oklahoma, as King now has 3. Martin has 4. Henry has 3. Mullins has 3. And Davis has 3, all for Oklahoma. Blunden at the line with 6 points and 6 rebounds. Oklahoma and Virginia playing right now for the right to move on and play the winner of our second game, which will be coming up later this evening between North Carolina and Michigan. We're in the Southeast region. Blunden hits the second one. And it's a 6-point Cavalier lead with 8:15 remaining in the ball game. Nice spin move by Davis. You have the feeling, Len, that Oklahoma is ready to explode, but every time they look like that, Virginia holds them off.
Well, that's been Virginia's control of the tempo. Terry Holland mentioned yesterday when we spoke to him that if they turn the ball over against pressure, they don't want to repeat that in sequence because that gives Oklahoma a big lift. What they've been able to do is after they turn it over, they take a step back, Virginia does, look at what happens and reset, and they come up and really are successful in getting the ball over half court and then attacking the pressure.
Skeeter Henry just picked up his 4th personal. Crotty at the line with 5 points, 8 assists. He gets the roll. John Crotty is a 6'1" sophomore. Parade High School All-American Player of the Year out of New Jersey. His dad played basketball at North Carolina.
So where did he almost go to school?
He looked seriously at Notre Dame. No question the free throw line has been a major factor here, and King with the power move, and he's fouled.
And Stacey King is animated. That's one of the few times Oklahoma's had an opportunity to put the ball back in off of a missed shot on their board. And that's one of the reasons why the foul shooting, there's such a discrepancy. Oklahoma just hasn't been able to go inside. Here, Stacey King does a nice job of staying with his missed shot and is fouled, and that's what Oklahoma has to do. They've got to attack the boards now because they're in trouble.
So Stacey King with a chance to knock it down to 3. In fact, he does that as he completes the 3-point play, 67-64. We will keep you posted as this game progresses. One other note, Virginia back in 1984 made it to the Final Four in Seattle. Much has been made about Georgetown returning to the Kingdome. The Cavaliers were there as well, winning the East Regional Final against Indiana. And again, we'll keep you posted on this game in the closing minutes. Coming up next on CBS after this Indiana-Seton Hall game, most of you will see Michigan against North Carolina. Out in the West, you'll see that UNLV-Arizona contest. Right now, we're getting set for the second half. Seton Hall up 9 on Indiana. We'll take you back to Denver after this message and a word from your local station.
Once again, the automotive world is focusing on Mercedes-Benz because the engineers who created the 190 class and a whole new automotive category have just recreated it.
Give me 2001 second.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz 190 class, the second generation.
Light. It is magical, powerful, essential. At GTE, we place that power at the touch of your hand. The power to open up any darkness. To illuminate the facts of science. Brighten the arenas of sports and business. Create the warm glow that means home. At GTE, we give you the power of light in 6,000 ways. none of them small. At GTE, the power is on.
Employment rose a fraction of a percentage point last month. The Labor Department
oil price increase to take effect.
Consumer price index jumped 0.6%.
Fear of inflation caused jitters in the financial market.
Volatility, uncertainty, the unknown. Helping people reach their financial dreams requires an understanding of each person's goals. At Merrill Lynch, we pride ourselves on getting to know you, one by one. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
If your car pulls to one side, let Midas check your alignment. At Midas, trained professionals with the latest technology align your car right. You see, we're serious about safety. Hey, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
This is CBS.
There are a lot of things that you already know about Liberty National Bank. They have a deep commitment to this region. They have a strong dedication to quality banking service. And they try very hard to maintain high standards. But one thing you may not know is that they are now the largest independent bank in Kentucky, large enough to give you the strength you want and independent enough to give you the personal service you deserve. There are banks, and there is liberty.
Think protection. Think insurance. Think Rieger Harris.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Pizza Hut, official corporate sponsor of the NCAA. And by your friends at Anheuser-Busch, to remind you to know when to say when.
Well, anyone could win this game, we said coming in, but right now it's been convincing for Seton Hall, 42-33, a 9-point halftime lead. And it's the kind of game in which Seton Hall hung in early with the three-point shooting, but then ultimately it was their inside play and the defense.
Well, I think the defense has been beautiful for them in the sense they're outplaying the guards and yet taking away the cuts. The idea coming in was to not let the forward or the guards see the floor. Make sure when there's cuts, they may be free, but don't let them make the pass. This particular sequence, you can see the great pressure on the ball, the eventual turnover, the denials here, John Morton stepping in, and that's as designed by B.J. Carlissimo. And, of course, on the offensive end, if you don't make it, you love guys who have a mindset to go get it. They have strength, and they get position. They have a great feel for the offensive glass.
Indiana missed their last 8 shots of the first half, and the shooting was the same, 47% for both sides. And an edge in the offensive rebounding as well for Seton Hall. And they were 6 of 8 from three-point range. Indiana has yet to hit a three-point basket. Keep in mind that Jay Edwards, the leading scorer and player of the year in the Big Ten, leading scorer for Indiana, played only 4+ minutes. So we're underway in the second half. Gaze, Ramos, and Walker up front for Seton Hall. And Gaze hits a three-pointer to start it off. He is 4 three-point baskets for his 12 points. And 7 of 9 from three-point range for Seton Hall in this game. Edwards hits his first shot coming back. Only 4 points. Eric Anderson led Indiana in the first half with 11.
Both clubs man-to-man, Dick. Edwards can certainly open it up for Indiana's offense.
10-point lead. Ramos against the double team. And they're going to call the foul against Seton Hall. And it'll be Darrell Walker with his 3rd personal foul. So Indiana starting out with Todd Jadlow, who hardly played in the first half. He's up front with Eric Anderson. And then the 3 guards of Joe Hillman, Lyndon Jones, and Jay Edwards. Jadlow loses the ball. Bobby Knight is really mad. And Morton misses the bank shot inside. He got good penetration. 2-on-2 now for the Hoosiers, trailing by 10.
They will not force the break. Seton Hall will look on occasion.
Fighting through Gaze, trying to stay with Hillman.
Inside screens and bumps.
Looking low to Jadlow. Ramos is on him. Ball doesn't go in, and a foul called against Ramos. It's Ramos' 2nd personal foul. The only player in the game with 3 fouls is Darrell Walker. He just picked up his 3rd, and Jadlow on the line.
That release by Jadlow won't give Kareem any nightmares. That could have been off his elbow, but a good, strong move.
Bobby Knight talked about a roller coaster season for Jadlow, although he played very well, as we said, in the first 2 rounds. Makes 1 out of 2 from the line. So the early going here in the second half, Seton Hall is up by 9.
Vic, the problem for Bobby Knight is they've stretched the defense out. Should help their inside game, Seton Hall.
Gaze misses the glass, the rebound by Jay Edwards. Indiana has yet to connect on a 3-point basket. Hillman misses a 2. Rebound by Darrell Walker. Despite 3 fouls, he's still going after him.
Good position, though. You're not going to foul when you do the right thing with your feet and your body.
Second place team in the Big East, Seton Hall. First time ever to the regional semifinals. And no basket. And Walker traveled before the shot.
You got to love Joe Hillman. He popped out there, set up defensively, and created the walk.
Franz Volsey replaces Darrell Walker for Seton Hall in blue. Volsey is number 30.
But you love those baseball guys, don't you?
A few of them. I like the football guys, too. Lyndon Jones giving up his dribble. Morton, it's really guarding tight, and Edwards got hit in the face, and an official's timeout falls.
The flick, Bobby Knight thought it should have been more. You see that frequently when guys stick those hands in, try and come up with the loose basketball, and Morton aggressive on Edwards, who can dribble. We mentioned early, can shoot it right there, just to step in a soft enough one that they didn't call a foul. He looks pretty good.
Jay Edwards in the first half, hardly playing. Scored only 2 points. Coming in, averaging 20 a game as the leading scorer for Indiana, trailing by 9.
He struggles in that first half of late, doesn't he? Last game, only 7.5 minutes, 3 fouls.
Gaze is hanging in there against Hillman. Missing is Edwards, tipped up by Jadlow, and they're going to call Jadlow for his 3rd foul. And that's going to be a tough blow for Bob Knight.
And they're such big guys, Dick. You got to let them play a little bit. I thought that was up for grabs. And so did Robert Knight.
Rayon Jadlow, he stays in the game. No one has come off the Indiana bench. Volsey looking inside for Ramos. And Franz Volsey missed the perimeter shot. Good play by Edwards, even though Lyndon Jones got the rebound. Indiana trying to cut it to 7. Big 10 champions.
Anderson backed all the way up to jam things up on the other end.
Jadlow working in against Ramos. The shot is blocked by Volsey. Gaze, 3-on-2 for Seton Hall, who bring it out and use the clock and set up a play.
This is where they're tough. Gerald Green, a heady kid, takes over, makes sure they get in their half-court set. The pop-out double.
Morton. There's Volsey with the follow. Again, Volsey, basket counts and a foul, and they're pounding the offensive play.
Wide bodies. These kids have been on weights most of the summer. Anthony Advent, Franz Volsey. The ability to get in position. We mentioned the mindset. You have to love going after the freebie.
Anderson with a 2nd foul, and Franz Volsey, who was born in Haiti and learned to play basketball in high school, having a good tournament, and for a late starter, really shows some good sense of basketball.
Interesting with him, he takes courses for engineering at another college, as well as, of course, his credits at Seton Hall.
So the lead is 12 now for the Pirates, matching their biggest of the game with 16.5 remaining.
Indiana has to get Edwards on the go right now. Do some bumps, some picks, some clearouts for him.
Hillman. Seton Hall is really making it difficult to get those cuts. Edwards with a jumper. 6 points for Jay Edwards.
I was standing at half court with Pete Newell, and Jay Edwards came up to us. And the first thing Pete Newell asked, how are your grades? He said, I'm doing great, coach. He has a great ability to play this game.
4 minutes gone by in the second half. Indiana had the lead for most of the first half, and then Seton Hall in the last 7 minutes or so took charge. They led by 9 at halftime to stretch it to 12. They're up by 10. 15 on the shot clock, and Gerald Green will set up the play.
See if Indiana changes their defensive philosophy inside.
Green penetrates, dunks it off for almost. Volsi foul. But again, Seton Hall is getting 2 and sometimes 3 chances at the basket.
Joe Hillman trying to help out, but you're right. The penetration that time, you want to take away the 3, which has been hurting Indiana, and now you pay for it with that dribble ability and then the dump.
So going back to the very start, as Knight diagrams a play for Hillman, talking about Indiana's perimeter shooting off screens versus Seton Hall's power inside. So far, the power has had the edge.
It sure has, and of course, it's been complemented by the three-point shooting as well.
Volsi also has 3 offensive rebounds thus far. But when they bring up Avent and Volsi from the bench to team with Ramos and the active Walker, they've got a bunch of people who can make it tough inside. 1 out of 2 for France Volsi, 49-38.
Jay Edwards will probably use Jadlow as he does on this one a lot more.
Inside, Gaze almost saved it, stepped on the line. It's still Indiana ball, but, you know, here is where the coaches feel that they got more than they bargained for in getting an Australian player who is more than just a shooter. He has a tremendous sense of the game.
It's all Pete Newell's fault. He sent Stu Inman down there to teach him how to play basketball. Lindsey Gaze taught this shot. You see him saving it going towards his basket? He didn't throw it up at the Indiana basket. He tried to get it towards the backcourt.
Lyndon Jones, Edwards has hit 2 in a row, and that's a 3-point basket, and the first triple by Indiana tonight. Trailing by 8 now. And we get a rise of the fans wearing the red of Indiana, and Ramos has picked up his 3rd personal foul. And the Indiana fans have something to cheer about since the early going of this game, Bill.
Well, anytime you referee and you look at the low post guys, it's frequent that you get the second one. They've been banging one another and pushing. We mentioned earlier the philosophy is to move them out. That's what Indiana's trying to do.
Oklahoma trying to come back in the late stages of that game with Virginia. Upset-minded Cavaliers. Meanwhile, Seton Hall leading 49-41. Jadlow loses the ball. Anderson, Hillman. And Hillman draws the foul. Gutty inside hustle by Indiana.
Oh, he puts his nose right in the middle. Volsi over a little bit late, gets tagged with it. And that's what Indiana has to do. They're used to being patient. I think they have to get it a little more frenetic. Get involved in skirmishes and be physical.
Hillman is on the free throw line. He's averaged nearly 13 a game this year and an 81% shooter from the stripe. Indiana with 2 NCAA titles under Bobby Knight, 5 in all. Kentucky also has 5, and only UCLA has amassed more in that John Wooden dynasty. Well, now Indiana has come back to trail Seton Hall by 6 with plenty of time remaining. We'll be back to McNichols Arena.
After rigorous examination of the Mercedes-Benz 300E, one automotive journal concluded that it may be the best sedan in the world, and another journal called it a nearly spectacular mix of performance and practicality. The Mercedes-Benz 300E. Now that it's astonished the experts, let it astonish you.
Rainy nights aren't much fun, except when it's pouring inside. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob Light? With it, you can communicate instantly with anyone virtually anywhere in the world. With it, you can save time and money. Without it, you're just not dressed for business. The MCI card. It is America's business card.
Jim Nantz back in New York. We will get you back to Indiana and Seton Hall, but right now 1 minute left in the Southeast region with the top seed trailing by 6. Let's join Tim Brandt and Len Elmore.
Want to welcome those of you who have been watching the game in the West. Tim Brandt and Len Elmore with you at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. There is 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining in the ball game, and Virginia leads the top-seeded Oklahoma Sooners 81-74. Brian Stitt, the freshman, at the line with 27 points tonight. And he gives Virginia an 82-74 lead. It is the biggest Virginia lead of the game. The concern on Billy Tubbs' face. What a shocker. This is Stacey King, banks it in. We're under a minute.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma takes one of its 3 timeouts, so both teams now have 2 remaining.
In 13 cities in 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
98,398 miles. My Toyota truck. I love it.
Well, you probably won't believe it, but I have 407,510 miles.
101,978 miles. 213,000 miles.
126,672 miles. My Toyota truck, I love it.
I love it.
And I love it.
I really love it.
1 mile, and I already love it.
Could ask for anything more.
With 54 seconds left in the game, this is the situation. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Virginia with 2 fouls to give and the possession arrow. Let's talk about strategy here.
This game in the Southeast, yes, we do have a Cinderella. Right now, let's take it back to Denver. Seton Hall up 8 on Indiana. Back to Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery.
Welcome back to McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado for our West Region semifinal. Indiana trails Seton Hall 52-46. Seton Hall was up by 12. Indiana cut it to 5 points. 3-point shot by Gerald Green gave Seton Hall breathing room, but the Hoosiers are pounding back in this game. And with 11 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the second half, it's a 52-46 lead for Seton Hall as Cooper throws up an air ball, and missing the follow-up is Walker and Anthony Avent, and here come the Hoosiers trying to cut it to 4 again. At one time, Seton Hall had missed 9 out of 10 shots. Joe Hillman, number 44 with the ball, 23, the freshman Jamal Meeks. Eric Anderson, the leading scorer for the Hoosiers, with 11 points, missed the shot. And here comes Green, number 15. Seton Hall in blue, Indiana in white, and they'll set up a play. Andrew Gaze, number 10, also in there, along with Walker, Avent, and Cooper.
Both clubs a little tired right now. I think the altitude has caught up with them. A lot of subbing. Of course, much more physical play, Dick.
Indiana already in the bonus. Seton Hall has picked up its 7th foul, and there's Lyndon Jones with the 15th foul against Indiana. Pookie Wigington is going to check in, along with a couple of big people for the Hoosiers. Jay Edwards, who has helped lead the charge back. P.J. Carlissimo, 2-time consecutive Coach of the Year for Seton Hall. So Edwards and Brian Sloan, the big guy, is in there, and Hillman and Jadlow go out for Indiana. Meanwhile, the other big story is Ramon Ramos picked up his 4th personal foul. That basket by Darrell Walker, but Ramos, during a few moments ago, picked up his 4th personal foul and is on the bench. Meanwhile, a stunning upset in Lexington, where Virginia knocked off top-seeded Oklahoma 86-80 to advance to the Southeast Regional Final against the winner of the North Carolina-Michigan game. Still to be played tonight. Oh, Edwards with good defense. Lyndon Jones is there, and it's slapped away. And here comes Seton Hall, leading by 8. Wigington at 5'4", the shortest player in Division I basketball. Gaze goes for 3. And the rebound by Meeks. Gaze has 4 3-point baskets to account for his 12th. Lyndon Jones beats Wigington to the basket. And it's 54-48. Favor the Pirates.
Good non-call on that charge block situation. But I think Indiana's done a marvelous job getting physical getting involved in the game. Jay Edwards forced that shot, Dick, but he got them going a little bit. Got free. They started bumping, picking for him.
Jay Edwards had a very cold first half. 10 points now for Edwards. So fill in Virginia in the Southeast Regional semifinal. They'll play the winner of North Carolina, Michigan. Cree Smith will report to the game, replacing Lyndon Jones when we come back to Denver.
What dry was. What dry is. Introducing new Michelob Dry Beer. It's brewed longer to start bold, finish clean, and refresh completely. New Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
Billy is just bad. He come under the viaduct with his Reeboks and his boys. They call him Showtime, and he is the show. Stays in the air just as long as he wants to. Once, he raised on Big Ten. I mean, straight up, and just hangs there. Then fires this sweet jumper. Spreads his arms, and I believe he said, I shoot like a god. Right in Tim's face.
When the new legends are made, they'll be wearing Reeboks.
It started with a death.
Do you believe in God?
Yes. It's going to end with a bang.
Is there anyone that'd be afraid to go through a door with me?
When a murder becomes a war.
White supremacy.
A cop needs an army.
But I'd go through a door with you anytime.
Don Johnson, Dead Bang, rated R. Starts Friday, March 24th at a theater near you.
We want to welcome the rest of the audience who saw the stunning upset of Oklahoma, Virginia advancing in the Southeast Regional. Meanwhile, here we have Seton Hall leading Indiana 54-48 with 9:29 remaining in the second half. Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery. Seton Hall in blue, Indiana in white. Wigington, number 4 in the backcourt. And virtually 4 front court players playing with them, Bill.
Well, Gaze moves to the back now. Here's their normal set. The shuffle cut and the dip in by Avent Low.
Cooper, 31. Walker, number 24. Keep in mind, Ramon Ramos is on the bench, the big center with 4 personal fouls for Seton Hall. And we're going to have a foul called, and that'll be against Anthony Avent, his 3rd. So here's the story. The shooting has been low on both sides. Seton Hall has really done the number on the offensive glass against Indiana. Pirates with 8 3-point baskets in 11 tries, and Ramos on the bench with 4 fouls. Ramos has scored 8 points, but really was one of the key people responsible for Seton Hall building up that 9-point halftime lead.
Of course, a lot of bumps, too. I'm impressed by Indiana coming back into this without running the ball, but being physical on the glass to really spark their club back in it. It's really lifted their spirits.
Cree Smith makes the free throw. He's in there with Ton Jadlow, the freshman Eric Anderson, who has scored 11 points to lead Indiana, and Joe Hillman and Jay Edwards. The altitude has seemed to have affected Indiana more than Seton Hall.
Interestingly enough, I think they've only been in a day early, but they've acclimated very well.
Second half shooting, both teams are under 30%. How do you figure that for Indiana?
I think they're both tired. Legs, you just don't have that push, that fluidity.
Gerald Green, who checked in along with Franz Volsey, number 30. Green is number 15. They're teamed up with Walker, Gaze, and Michael Cooper, 31. There's a 3-point shot, wild by Green. Volsey can't save it. And Indiana, trailing by 5, can cut it to 3 with 8:29 remaining in the second half. And John Morton, the star guard, has replaced Michael Cooper in the backcourt. Look at the field goal percentage of those teams. When was the last time Indiana shot so low?
I don't recall, but I'm just impressed with the effort Seton Hall's put on with Jay Ed. What a bump he just received. Oh.
Good screen.
Oh, I'll say.
Coming around it, and Edwards now with 12 points has taken over the scoring lead, and a timeout called by Seton Hall. Indiana coming back trailing by 3 with plenty of time remaining.
worldwide information systems.
I've tried it. Now I believe it. Denorex Tingles tells me it's doing more. Head and Shoulders, no tingle.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denorex.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight.
The Starlight Foundation grants hundreds of wishes to seriously ill children. And now you can help Michelob make more wishes come true. Just look for this display.
Have the wish I wish tonight.
Feel your pulse pounding, your temperature rise.
Hot looks, high performance, and a whole lot of driving excitement. That's Pontiac Sunbird.
Yeah! Riding Pontiac. Get on your Pontiac and ride.
And now, with up to $900 cash back for qualified first-time buyers, Sunbird more than fits your budget. Check it out.
Rebuild excitement.
Well, Bobby Knight teaches on offense, get the man when you're setting a pick. Eric Anderson presents himself big, protects himself now, and does a marvelous job freeing Jay Edwards. A little extension, but this is what has gotten Indiana back in it. A little more motion for Edwards.
Since Seton Hall had its biggest lead of 12, Bill, Indiana's outscored Seton Hall 15-6. Edwards now leads the Hoosiers with 12. He had only 2 at halftime. Morton missing. And now Hillman. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the second half. Deflected, and Walker picks it off. He was trying to go to Anderson. A 3-on-2 opportunity for Seton Hall. Morton in a crowd draws the foul. And that'll be the 16th foul against Indiana. Seton Hall is already over the limit. And the personal foul is against Cree Smith, number 1 on Smith.
We mentioned the ability to run the floor. Seton Hall has it. Indiana just takes it on occasion. But Gerald Green, great judgment, and he didn't charge. His ability to stop and dish gets Morton to the free throw line.
Joe Hillman with instructions from Bob Knight. And here is Morton. He has averaged 17 points this season. He's got 10 right now. Indiana breezed through their opening round victories. They beat George Mason and then University of Texas at El Paso by 30 points. Seton Hall had a scramble to beat Southwest Missouri State in Evansville. Pirates had a 19-point lead, cut to 1, and held on to win against a team that plays very much like Indiana. Jim Cruz ace.
Of course, an assistant for Bobby Knight, very similar in philosophy, and good three-point shooter, too.
5-point lead for Seton Hall. And they'll call the foul against Franz Volsi. And shooting situation now sends Todd Jadlow to the free throw line. Jadlow, senior from Salina, Kansas. So the two seniors, centers, Brian Sloan and Jadlow.
This motion offense that Jay Edwards has to keep moving. They run a lot of picks for him. At the end of the game, he may be tired because he's in continual motion and he may not be able to stroke it as well.
Indiana's shooting is a big story. They were 56% combined in their first 2 games. They're 38% right now. And in their last regular season game, when they used those 4 reserves, they shot 38%. Jadlow connects on only 1, and it's 56-52 Seton Hall. At one time, Pirates are up by 12.
If they don't have the big inside threat right now with Ramos out of the game, they may rely on penetration and then the dunk.
What time would you bring him back?
I'd wait a while. Till it was a little push there by Walker, got away with it.
Walker misses the second shot. And it's tipped up and in by Darrell Walker, who has 9 points. Gaze with 12, all on 3-point shooting. Leads Seton Hall. Morton with 11. And Gerald Green and Darrell Walker with 9. Good balance and a turnover. Morton tapped it into the hands of Gaze.
Jadlow tried to do something he can't do. The touch pass. You leave that for the Edwards of the world.
Sloan will check back in for Indiana at the next dead ball. Gerald Green controlling. If you ought to pick a time, what would be a good time for Ramos?
I would say about 4 minutes, unless they get back in it right away. They've got control. They've got the half. Nice back cut.
Gaze gets the basket. That's Gaze's first 2-point basket of the game. He has 14. And the lead is 8 again by Seton Hall. Edwards in traffic feeds Anderson. Freshman from Chicago, Illinois, will shoot 2. Andrew Gaze with his second foul. Ramos with 4 personal fouls for Seton Hall has been on the bench. Walker and Morton and Anthony Aben each with 3.
Well, Bobby Knight's been known for that help side reaction to the ball. Everybody reacting as the ball is thrown or dribbled. Seton Hall did it beautifully that time.
Anderson is 4 for 5 from the free throw line. He has 12 points, his 24 against UTEP, tied his career high. Of course, he's just a freshman. It's a 60-54 game.
Dick, it's essential for Indiana to stay close. They're not a full court pressing team. They can't create turnovers. Bobby admitted as much.
They're the kind of team that can't overwhelm anybody. He says, we can't go into a trap. We can't pound the boards. They just have to hustle and play steady ball.
And just win. He does it so well.
Trying to get a foul out of it, nothing doing, and good Indiana defense. Gets the ball back, and a chance for the Hoosiers to cut Seton Hall's lead to 4. And a foul against John Morton will be his 4th foul. Now,
not a good shot. He set it up the foul with it.
Seton Hall would be in trouble without Morton, who has 4 fouls, and Ramos, who's been on the bench with 4. And Michael Cooper will replace John Morton right now. Morton goes out with 11.
Of course, the matchup now might be Gaze coming out to play Jay Edwards, and Jay Edwards should be able to dribble by him if, in fact, it is Gaze. You ready?
Edwards toweling off, and every reserve who goes to the bench for Indiana immediately goes for that oxygen, and it seems as the game wears on that they've been gasping.
Of course, again, all that activity on offense does tire you down, and you all talk about their great defense, which certainly takes away some energy.
National champions 2 seasons ago. Indiana's going to the line. Almost 20 more times than Seton Hall. Edwards makes the free throw. He has scored 12 of his 14 points here in the second half. The lead is 4 for Seton Hall.
Of course, you mentioned that free throw shooting. That's something they do game in and game out. Get to the line.
There's the time remaining in the second half. Indiana had a 4-point lead. It was a close battle through the first half. Seton Hall opened it up to 9, stretched it to 12 before the Hoosiers have made their comeback, coinciding with Edwards' second half.
Good defense inside by Anderson. Hillman has not left Andrew Gaze at all.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Going to the hoop is Green. He didn't really have balance, but the foul is called against Indiana. Edwards with his 3rd personal foul.
And Edwards, I think, has a right to be upset. The dribbler, Gerald Green, initiated that contact. He got the call, fortunately for him, in Seton Hall.
Both teams are in the bonus situation now. Gerald Green will go to the free throw line, a 6'1 senior from Brooklyn, New York. Came into his own last year when he had to fill in for James Major's injury, and that's where he started to become more think pass than shoot. He's got 10.
He has done a marvelous job running the show. They became a team then with Major as the 3rd guard. And here's the guy with 5:13 left.
4 personal fouls. You had said maybe with 3 minutes, so P.J. Carlissimo probably looks up on the board and says, I'm going to be now or never for Ramos.
That's why he's won so much.
We'll see whether that plan works out. Green with 11. So the backcourt of Morton and Green each with 11. This 62-56 Seton Hall. Indiana has not scored a basket in the last 3 minutes.
It's Cooper on Edwards, and he left him. Nice pump.
Edwards trying to feed it inside to Sloan, and it was picked off by Ramos.
Not a bad look, really. I mean, he had the shot. Nice look, unfortunately for him. Good defense by Seton Hall.
Under 5 minutes remaining in the second half. We've had one upset today. This would be a surprise. Not nearly as much as a shocker as Virginia over Oklahoma.
You listen to Bobby Knight, he felt it was going to be a tough game. There's a little bit of a delay to milk the clock down and then try and get in there set for a good shot.
15 on the shot clock, and Lyndon Jones all over Green. Edwards out to meet Gaze. Looking inside to Ramos. Ramos gets the basket. 10 points for Ramos, and 4 Seton Hall players are in double figures.
That dip in, Dick. Brian Sloan got caught behind. Great play by Seton Hall.
Timeout called by Indiana with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go.
There's a reason why, wherever he goes, Spud McKenzie has so much fun. He's always in control. Spud knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Be a good sport. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
After 6 hours of school, I had enough for the day. I hit the radio dial.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system. Now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
The long-term outlook holds the prospect of a leveling off, according to one.
The downward trend in savings by U.S. families continues to be a concern.
Closed sharply higher today in heavy trading. Analysts say uncertainty in the bond markets due to the recent volatility in
Stocks, bonds, savings. Planning for your family's future requires finding the right balance. That's why so many people put their trust in Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Compaq has consistently led the industry with products that incorporate the latest technology.
Miss Lucas, it's time to board.
You have time for this?
I have time.
The Compaq laptop pushes the state of the art.
Now that's neat.
It's my secret weapon.
Compaq understands what its customers want.
Welcome to New York. How was the flight?
I can't wait to show you.
Extraordinary defense by Seton Hall, and the big guy does it here.
Anybody who teaches man-to-man likes the defense to react to the ball. In the right of your picture, look at the big hand and position of Ramon Ramos. And at the other end, this dip in. Brian Sloan just caught that, and a great kiss shot here. Big, strong guy, come in 5'13", he's been a factor.
And the Big East Student Athlete of the Year goes to the bench, Ramon Ramos. He came in with a big defensive play and scored at the other end for an 8-point Seton Hall lead, exactly 4 minutes remaining in the second half.
He won't be back, Dick.
But PJ put him in. He contributed in a hurry. Edwards going to the hoop. And a foul called against Green, and that will be 3 on Green. Indiana ice cold, but credit Seton Hall's tremendous defense. At the conclusion of every CBS Sports NCAA tournament broadcast, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet most valuable player from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school to further assist qualified students in all chosen fields. So Ramos returns to the game, and Franz Volsi, who replaced him, goes out. There was the surprise. Virginia shocking Oklahoma, the team that made it to the championship game a year ago. They go out in the Southeast Regional semifinals tonight.
Terry Holland, a great job. We've seen Oklahoma so often be explosive, but PJ Carlissimo, little offense and defense with Ramon Ramos, wisely using him, controlling his minutes to make sure he doesn't get number 5.
Jay Edwards with 16 points, 64 to 58 in favor of the Pirates. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Going right to their game with Ramos in, no delay.
Green looking inside of Walker. He's got Cooper, Gaze, and Ramos, who again will tell you is playing with 4 personal fouls.
Green, very important in the intelligent approach to the game. Make sure they get in their spots.
Cooper coming around, but Hillman is sticking with him, and a steal by Edwards. And a great play by Michael Cooper kept the ball into the hands of Seton Hall, and Green lays it in, and that may be the big play of the game. We'll wait and see with 3:04 to go. Great hustle.
You're right on it. Cooper gave it all up, and of course Green responded beautifully.
Edwards ducks in and draws the foul. And that'll be against Michael Cooper, his 3rd foul.
Dick, this is what it's all about at this level. College guys just making sure, not concerned about the bumps and the bruises, but look at the point guard, the leader, Gerald Green with the finish.
And it's 66-58, and John Morton will come in, and Michael Cooper goes out, and he made the hustle play of this game. He goes out with his third personal foul, 2:56 remaining, and Jay Edwards has made a living on the line in the second half of this game, with Seton Hall leading by 8 points.
I'm impressed how Indiana came right back, got to the free throw line quickly. They're going to have shorter trips, make sure that they can extend this game.
Jamal Meeks, the freshman point guard, replaces Lyndon Jones. It's nail-biting time for Bob Knight. Coming up next, Michigan and North Carolina in the Southeast. And Arizona, the top seed out here in the West, against UNLV in the Running Rebels.
Jay Edwards at 82% roughly. He follows through beautifully. Full extension. No yank to that shot.
18 points, 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. Timeouts remaining. Each team has 3. 6-point lead for Seton Hall. 2:45 to go, and every possession now is going to have tremendous significance.
Jamal Meeks trying to, that time, keep Gerald Green out of it now. Joe Hillman has him. But they'll use the clock unless a good one shows. Now they're in that delay again, Dick.
And the foul, Edwards fouls Morton, and Morton will go to the line. John Morton is an 82% free throw shooter. He's hit all 4 from the line today. So 2 minutes and 32 seconds is all that separates the Seton Hall Pirates from a victory over the Big Ten champion Indiana Hoosiers, as France Bolsey will check in for Ramos. So Carlissimo smartly spotting Ramos in the late stages with 4 fouls.
Giving them the minutes that are advantageous to Seton Hall.
Basically using an offensive-defensive substitution. Free throw by Morton is good. Pirates, who were picked to finish 7th in the Big East. They won their first 13 games of the year. And they finished 2nd in the regular season and were knocked out by Syracuse in the Big East tournament semifinal.
One of those clubs that's tough for Seton Hall to play against. They just can't beat them.
Michael Cooper comes back in. Morton goes out. So Carlissimo using the offensive and defensive substitutions with 2.5 to play. Seton Hall leading 68-60. Pirates are a very good foul shooting team, as is Indiana.
Solid.
And Seton Hall's the team in front. Hillman hits a 3. Big basket by Joe Hillman. And a timeout called by Indiana. They'll have 2 timeouts when we come back with the Pirates lead cut to 5 and a thriller.
From the Industrial Tool Division of Black & Decker. Tough ball and roller bearings, 2 speed ranges, and a powerful 5 amps that can deliver over 49,000 beats per minute. Ask a man who's used one lately. Nothing beats a Black & Decker.
According to a national survey, employers are looking for people who can handle heavy responsibilities. People with the ability to overcome obstacles, perform under pressure, and work well with others. Men and women with the pride and self-discipline it takes to reach new heights. Which is why some of the most successful people in the white-collar world start off green.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call us, 1-800-222-0400.
Well, we got more action tonight, but tomorrow night, the regional semifinals continue at 8 o'clock Eastern. Louisville and Illinois in the Midwest, and Minnesota Duke in the East gets underway at 7:30 Eastern to areas of interest. And later on, North Carolina State against the top seed team in the East, Georgetown. Missouri and Syracuse will meet for the 2nd time this year. 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go at 68-63. Hillman's 3-pointer was the first Indiana basket in 6 minutes. Give you an indication of what Seton Hall's defense has meant tonight.
Indiana went out man-to-man full, didn't get anything out of it.
Under 2 minutes, 1:56 and 25 on the shot clock. No harm, no foul. Here's Ramos inside. Tries to tip it in. And will go to the line and shoot two and very nearly had a basket.
Pretty good piece of officiating, too. Morton, Bobby Knight thought it was a charge. I thought it was a good non-call. But interior passing off the penetration, that's been the problem for Bobby Knight's interior defense.
Eric Anderson, the freshman, with 13 points, has picked up his fourth foul. Michael Cooper, who's been tremendous defensively and made a big play for Seton Hall, has reported into the game. And Ramos, who has missed his only free throw attempt. Lyndon Jones checks in for Jamal Meeks for Indiana. Ramos at 260 pounds, a big fellow with a nice touch. Makes the front end or makes the first free throw. He'll have another one coming.
See how quickly Indiana pushes it up and gets a good one. Obviously, Jay Edwards is the guy, Dick, but he's been giving it off as they pick him up.
Jadlow, you saw, went to the bench and Cree Smith replaced him. Ramos 2 for 2, smooth shots. And Franz Bolsey will replace Ramos. So Carlissimo trying to avoid Ramos being in the position of picking up his fifth personal foul. And it's 70 to 63, a 7-point lead. 1:43 to go. Loose ball, and Seton Hall on the turnover.
Great play by Darrell Walker.
Green handling it, looking for help. Cooper. Walker, Gaze, big basket for Seton Hall, and Bobby Knight knows it. Edwards misses a three. It goes out of bounds, and Seton Hall's ball with 1:22 to go.
The ability of good position defense to come up with turnovers. It's happened all game, and then the recognition by Gerald Green, the touch passing, something Seton Hall's done all year. Been unselfish.
Meeks comes in the game, and they double team John Morton and commit the foul, and that'll send Morton to the line 1-and-1. Lyndon Jones with a personal foul. So this is where the free throws are important, and this year Seton Hall shot 83% in the last 4 minutes of their game from the line. And so far in this tournament, in the last 2 minutes, they have just missed one free throw.
P.J. Carlissimo in conversation as he keeps bringing in Ramon Ramos back and forth. He said, it's not special playing against Bobby Knight. I had set it up. He said, I didn't even think about that. It's just playing Indiana. But after a game like this, if he's able to win, it's got to be a satisfaction to compete at this high level against one of the noted coaches in America.
Bobby Knight was a guy who was a coach at a camp when P.J. Carlissimo was just a high school kid. He went in to talk to him when he was head coach at Army.
He's ahead, by the way. The man with the beard is ahead, folks.
Thanks for straightening that out, because you wouldn't know it. Morton, and 11 straight free throws by Seton Hall, and an 11-point lead with 1:17 to go. Lyndon Jones misses, and the rebound by Bolsey. He's fouled, and time is beginning to run out for the Indiana Hoosiers and Bob Knight's Big Ten champion. That is 4 on Jones. And the Seton Hall fans are starting to celebrate a bit early with a 74-63 lead.
So the problem now is you can't extend the floor. You don't have the kind of players that can trap and rotate. So Bobby Knight has to come down, shoot quickly, go for a trap and foul. And as you mentioned, Dick, Seton Hall's an excellent free throw shooting team.
And here's Franz Bolsey. Morton's going to save it in the corner. Seton Hall Pirates 23-2 this year when they've led at the half, and they were up by 9 at the half in this game. 1 minute remaining. And Indiana having a foul now and sends Seton Hall to the line where they have been near perfect. And Lyndon Jones may have picked up his 5th foul, and he has, and so the sophomore point guard from Marion, Indiana, has fouled out of the game. He scored 4 points. And Mark Robinson will replace him.
Dick, exactly what's happened to Indiana is they let the ball get into the post, and then Seton Hall responded by giving it out. They made the threes early, so that stretched the defense. Then they couldn't help on the post. that it really hampered the defensive trips for Indiana.
Edwards going for a three, misses. It's desperation time for Indiana, but Morton gets the long rebound and an exclamation point for Seton Hall. The Pirates are going to advance. Some people will consider it a shocking upset, or an upset indeed. If you have not seen Seton Hall play very tough ball play in Big Ten action this year, it is not that much of a surprise. Hillman missed.
Physical, great defense, and they're pretty deep inside. I think that's the reason they've done so well. Of course, the dad in the middle of the picture, and his wife Lucy.
Pete Carlesimo.
Yep, Pete Carlesimo.
And they're going to honor him 50 years in basketball next month, and Bobby Knight is going to be one of the guest speakers. And how proud he must be of his son to see P.J. Carlesimo with a huge victory over Bob Knight's Indiana Hoosiers here and reach the Western Regional Final. Jay Edwards with 5 fouls is out of the game. He scored 18 points, 16 of them in the second half. Too little, too late for an Indiana team that fell prey to good inside play and a fantastic defensive effort there.
I just think they responded, Seton Hall, to the sets, the picks, helped one another out, were more aggressive, and I just think the size factor just wore this Indiana club down. The high altitude factor and that ability to take up so much space and be strong.
Teams are emptying their benches now. Indiana is. Gerald Green hits the free throw. Eric Anderson, who had an outstanding freshman year, over talking with Bobby Knight right now. Magnus Polkowski from Bogota, Colombia, number 14, had checked into the game. Mike Colosio from Hillsborough, California, number 21, is in. Trevor Crowley, a junior from Fremont, California, is in, and Green is out of there as the final seconds, 30 seconds remaining in a victory for the Big East over the Big Ten, two of the toughest conferences this year.
Both known for their physical play.
Wigington is fouled by Hillman. So for Joe Hillman, senior, will go on and play baseball in the Oakland A's farm system. Todd Jadlow also graduating. Bree Smith, Mark Robinson. But Indiana will have back the likes of Jay Edwards, Lyndon Jones, their starting backcourt, and Jamal Meeks. And Eric Anderson, who will only be a sophomore next year. And there's Meeks with a shot. So Seton Hall's defense limiting Indiana to only 3 field goals in the last 15 minutes of the second half have stunned Indiana. Final score, Seton Hall 78, Indiana 65, and the Pirates of the Big East will move on to the Western Regional Final. Jay Edwards with 18 points, topped Indiana. John Morton, most of them on the line, had 17 points, leading Seton Hall as Seton Hall ends Indiana's season. And the Pirates at 29-6 on the year.
Bobby Knight, a great clinician, teaching defense, taught PJ some defense early in his coaching days, and he certainly paid him back in kind.
Final score, Seton Hall 78, Indiana 65. And we'll be back after this word from your local station.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it. With Son of a Gun Protected from STP. If your dash looks dull, shoot it. Your seats are shot, shoot them. Your tires look flat, heck, shoot them too. Don't leave your roof a wreck. Give it some luster. Give your car high caliber protection with Son of a Gun from STP. Son of a gun, what a difference.
Most personal computers are like a 2-lane highway, which is fine until there's so much information, even important data, gets stuck. But you can have more lanes for information in your system right now with an IBM invention called microchannel in many IBM Personal System 2 computers.
It's putting an end to roadblocks and speed limits, so you'll be going places faster today and down the road. When you're thinking ahead, you're thinking IBM. Personal System 2.
Six-topping Supreme Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get one medium for $8.99 or two for just $4 more.
This is CBS.
To those who excelled in personal service in 1988. To those select few rated outstanding in customer satisfaction surveys, goes the highest honor a Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer can receive. The Ford Motor Company President's Award. Presented to Byerly Ford 3 out of the last 4 years.
With all that's being written and said about savings and loans, people are asking questions about safety, about their money. Well, I can tell you that in all the years I've been associated with Great Financial Federal, we've never been stronger and more secure than we are today. We're Kentucky's largest mutual savings and loan. We had a banner year in 1988, and by all indications, 89 should be even better. We're Great Financial Federal, your key to financial security.
Ford drives and scores. One-on-one, Ford Ranger slam dunks the competition with 4.9 financing or $750 cash back. Comparably equipped Ford Ranger is priced over $1,000 less than Chevy S10. Now get a loaded Ranger with free factory air and more. And save over $2,100 on the #1 selling compact pickup. No wonder Ford outsold Chevy in '88 by over 168,000 trucks. 4.9 financing or $750 cash back. Only where quality is standard. Your Ford dealer. Ford Ranger scores.
U of L takes on Illinois Friday at 8 on WHAS TV.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right. And by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
So it's been a wild Thursday night to this point. In the span of 30 minutes, we've lost a 1 seed and a 2 seed. Oklahoma out of the Southeast as Virginia advances on, awaiting the winner of the North Carolina-Michigan game. And out west, Indiana is out, and Seton Hall is in the West Regional Final, awaiting the winner of Arizona and UNLV. Coming up now, we're going to take it to the opening minutes of Michigan and North Carolina. For you folks in the West, about 20 minutes from now, we'll take you out for the UNLV-Arizona tip. But right now, let's take you to Lexington. Tim Brandt and Lynn Elmore with Michigan and North Carolina.
We want to welcome those of you who have been watching the game in the West. Seton Hall's upset win over Indiana with Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery. Welcome to the Southeast Region semifinal at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Tim Brandt along with Len Elmore. This is North Carolina with the basketball in white playing against Michigan. Both teams average over 90 points a game, the #2 and 3 seeds in the Southeast. So far, as you look at J.R.